Hi guys, how you doing? Okay, I'm super duper excited about the tea that I'm about to show y'all in the next few minutes. I want to pull up a couple of things. It's about to go down on the channel. I'm about to bust your face wide open with a little bit of tea, but first I want to make sure that I play my opener for you guys. Um, I want to make sure that I hold on. I want to make sure that I set this up the right way and that I have certain things pulled up that I need pulled up. So 2 seconds, okay, and um, and we gonna get straight to it, just like this. All right. I'm going to be adding some music in here for us so that we can enjoy our little background stuff. All right. I don't like that. All right, I like that one. So let's get to the opener really quickly. This is not gonna be done smoothly because I'm just getting back into my groove, y'all. To be honest, I gotta be honest with y'all. I'm trying to get back in my groove, child. Let's get to this opener, honey. Period. Okay, and that was the opener. That's how we do that there. All right. So let's get into it. First and foremost, thank you so much for joining me on this channel. Please share, 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 share this link. As a matter of fact, I'm about to go share it myself because this is about to be a juicy, juicy exclusive. It's going to be one of those ones that y'all are going to be like, oh my God, bitch. Like, yeah, it's going down right now. And I just want you guys to know that you're going to want to know this tea. This is tea that is exclusive to me. No one else has this tea. Okay. This is let me see, text. Oh Lord, they changing stuff on YouTube again, y'all. Now they changing the way we post stuff on the community wall. But we gonna do this anyway. We gonna make this happen. All right. So let's get to it. And I'm sharing with my audience um this post. So make sure that you guys share this where you can on your Facebook, on your YouTube, on your Instagram, wherever you can post and share. If you're a part of any exclusive groups, please do me a favor and share this video. Okay. So there were some things that had come to my attention about Omarion. Now, first of all, I don't know if you guys know, but Omarion has written a book. And we're going to get over to the article about his book right now. And then I'm going to tell you some exclusive tea that I have learned. Oh, wow. Some exclusive tea that I have learned in the last few days. I think that you guys are going to be 100%, like I said, your minds are going to be blown about the stuff that I have to bring to you. Okay. All right. So let's talk about Omarion's new book, Unbothered: The Power of Choosing Joy. Now, first of all, as you guys know, Omarion is this big guru for being unbothered. He doesn't want to paint the narrative that other people want to paint about himself just to be in the media. As you guys know, he left Love and Hip Hop after the first season because he did Post to Be, or after, I think it was after 1 or 2 seasons. I think it was the first season, because he did that song Post to Be under Rick Ross's label. And so he was like, I don't want to be bothered with the mess. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag unbothered Omarion. Okay. The power of choosing joy. Right. Well, Omarion has had many, many things come up against him and try to bother him. But there's been one constant about Omarion, and that is that he has chosen on purpose, y'all, to not deal with any of the extras. And I'm talking about extras that have been in the background about him. Can you guys hear that music? Okay, I don't want it to get too loud. Okay, so let me just tell you guys this. First and foremost, Omarion has made a great name for himself. However, he's run into his battles, right? He had Crystal, Crystal. He had April Jones and Little Fizz, right? And although we saw Little Fizz apologize to him on stage, there's been other things going on in the background that you guys just don't know anything about. And when I tell you it has been absolutely nuts, I mean, I just got to commend this man for not coming out and busting through the seams on these people, okay? He's been going through some seriousness in his life. Not only that, but we also had Zeus Network, who tried to wake it up on Omarion about his own B2K tour, in which he had to shut down because of Little Fizz in April and what was going on in the background with them. Well, come to find out, Omarion's a lawyer, had a lot to do with a lot. Omarion has had a lot to do with a lot in the background, and we about to wake it up. Let's first talk about Omarion's book, Unbothered, the power of choosing joy. I can't say there's real power in choosing not to be bothered by these people, okay? The article says by vibe.com/news, having spent over 20 years of his life in the spotlight, R&B singer Omarion is familiar with the struggle that comes with maintaining one's peace of mind while interacting with the world around you. Now, that's very, very true. Omarion has been one of those ones that has had to interact with the world in a way that you would think that he would be more bothered, especially when I found out J Boog slept with his mama. You would think he would be more bothered than he is. But it says Omarion is familiar with the struggle that comes with maintaining one's peace of mind while interacting with this world, okay? He plans to draw from his own experiences in hopes of helping others with his forthcoming book, Unbothered, The Power of Choosing Joy. His literary debut, the 256-page self-help book, will provide readers with an intimate lens into his spiritual journey that has inspired so many to nurture themselves. The book will include 3 sections: one that tackles spirituality, another that tackles mental health, and the last one focusing on physical wellness. The practitioner of holistic wellness, Omarion dives deep into his personal practices throughout Unbothered, The Power of Choosing Joy, including breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, ancient mantras, and overall embracing positivity. The book also includes personal accounts of turmoil within his own life, okay? Personal accounts of turmoil within his own life, which he shares in hopes of promoting forgiveness and emotional intelligence. In an interview on Wednesday, May 11th, Omarion touched on his experience as a father. As you guys know, Omarion is a single father raising his children by himself while April gets visitation, okay? In that area, he admits that he had to grow into it with time. He said, when you become a parent, there is no manuscript. You have to look at your own parents and the things that they had or didn't have and take full responsibility for what you want. His book is scheduled for release on September 2022 and is currently available for pre-order, okay? Now that we have gotten that out of the way, baby, first of all, I got to commend Omarion on everything he does, on everything that he is, and on everything that he has put forth into this earth, baby, because we have watched him go through it. It ain't nothing like having a woman that you chose to be your woman, right, in front of the public, because he didn't have to do that publicly. Omarion has been dating a young lady behind the scenes. And Omarion, I'm glad to see you, Meek and Car and Rare Black Diamond, Susan, Cher, and Sally. Okay. Omarion has been dating a young woman behind the scenes that he has yet to bring forth. But it's time that we talk about these things that are going on with Omarion in his personal life. And it's time that I wake it up with the facts and what really happened and is happening behind the scenes. Okay. Now, first of all, Omarion is, like I said, a single father of 2 children, and there are things that he has had to do to protect his children that the public has yet to know. Let's wake it up, shall we? Hi, Latrice. All right. So first and foremost, come to find out, Omarion, there was a woman, I believe her name was Jessica or Jennifer. Okay. And when Omarion first met this young woman, he wanted to be with her. This is back in the day, in the days of B2K. Okay. And so what ended up happening was the girl wanted to go for the lighter skinned person, and the girl ended up sleeping with both Omarion and Fizz, but ultimately ended up with Omarion. Now, while this is going on, okay, now, and I only said that to let you guys know there's been contention and there's been the sharing of women between Omarion and Fizz. Okay, this is not something new to these two people, to Omarion and Fizz. Okay, that was only new to us, and that explains why Omarion did not react to that situation like we thought he was going to react. I don't know why my shirt is not straight. So we thought that Omarion was going to react in a way that was going to be so explosive and, oh my God, y'all, Fizz is sleeping with April. We thought that that was going to be a really, really big deal. But it turns out that Omarion might have had some prior knowledge about that and actually forced those two together. Yes, I said that. Omarion might have actually created a door for those two to be together. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, he's not on the DL. And I'm going to tell you exactly how that happened and when he found out and how he found out. Child is about to get juicy up in here. Okay, so, and these might be some of the personal experiences in that he writes in his book. Thank you, Latrice, and hello, Nettie. All right, so as I was saying, Omarion has always had his eyes. Him and Fizz clearly have the same taste in women, okay? And so him and Fizz have always gone after the same women, specifically like behind the curtain of B2K and, you know, behind the green walls, I should say, you know, backstage type of joints, if you know what I mean, okay? Because these girls have been throwing themselves at B2K, any member of B2K. And like you said, Omarion could get it. Well, these girls feel the same way about him and Fizz. Now, where we think Fizz looks a certain way on camera, Fizz looks completely different off camera as far as what I'm hearing. And so apparently he's very attractive off camera and has a very calm swag about him that makes these young women like him and want to mess with him, okay? And so therefore, it's always been a thing about Fizz and Omarion, and also J Boog, but J Boog has never stepped into Omarion's lane. Okay, and like I said, these might be some things that we hear in the book. All right, so I just want to wake up with the knowledge that I have because, baby, it's juicy. And when I tell you it's juicy, it's juicy. So Omarion, April originally came to Omarion, guess what? As a female that was dating another producer named Red One, okay? So when April met Omarion, she met him as a fan. She met the whole group as a fan of theirs through a producer that she was already dating. She was in a relationship when she got in a relationship with Omarion with a producer named Red One. Talk about being a hoe. Girl, now you know you was wrong. You was wrong from the get-go. This girl have been social climbing her way all the way up for a very long time. And guys, this is the reason why Omarion is not surprised by her antics. As you can see, when Omarion found out about her and Fizz, he basically was #unbothered, like his book says. The power of not being bothered. You heard what I said? And like I said, the reason is because when he met April, she was already in a relationship. April happens to be a serial cheater. And at this point, I'm basically concerned for Taye Diggs, if you understand what I'm saying, okay? I am concerned for Taye Diggs because I don't think that, first of all, I think she's a beard for Taye Diggs. If you ask me, she's a beard for Taye Diggs. Tay Diggs, there's no way in the hell he's straight. He acts like a queen. He looked like a queen. I just don't see where Tay Diggs is straight. Am I lying? Because if I'm lying, baby, I'm flying. And I mean that, okay? So I don't think that Tay Diggs is straight. I think that she's a beard for Tay Diggs. And a part of me even think that she's doing that for Tay Diggs because she ended up getting, I don't know if you guys know this, April ended up getting put out of her place. She didn't have anywhere to stay. So I'm thinking that she's being a beard for Tay Diggs for two reasons. Number one, she needs somewhere to stay. And number two, and she needs somewhere to stay for the sake of having a place to keep her kids for visitation. If April, in fact, has nowhere to stay and to have her kids at for visitation, then April will not be able to visit her children. And that's just period, because she's supposed to have them for the weekends, okay? But number two, the reason why April could be doing this with Tay Diggs is also because Omarion is rumored to be gay or have some type of fruitiness with him. And so if she looks like a beard for Tay Diggs, then what was she for Omarion, right? Then it takes the heat off of her to making her look like she was just being a hoe. If she was more like working and being a beard in her eyes or in the eyes of people that continue to believe that, you know, these men have some type of fruitiness or, you know, whatever you want to call it, bisexualities to them. Okay. So at this point, we have April, who's already dating a producer. She comes to a show or a backstage studio. She meets Omarion and B2K, Little Fizz, and all of them. That's why you will see her say, on Love and Hip Hop, you've seen her say several times that she's always been friends with everybody from B2K. Now, J Boog and the other one, y'all know I just said his name. The other one, the light-skinned one with the big peanut head. Raz, they unfriended her. They stopped talking to her at the moment where her and Omarion broke up and they found out what was really going on. Okay? Hold on. Hold that thought, guys. Remember, they unfriended her. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Hold on. Okay, so J Boog and Raz B unfriended her at the time that she stopped dealing with Omarion, because to them, she's his baby mama. And if y'all are no longer together and he says don't talk to y'all, mind y'all, at this time, he's about to wake the tour back up, right? And he says don't deal with you, then they're not going to deal with you. Fizz was the only one who did not do that. There's a reason behind this, okay? So, definitely a pass around, Susan. She's been doing this for quite some time, come to find out. And my whole thing about women like her is that, you know, she uses her beauty. If you see now, she has, and she's a very beautiful girl. We're not going to take that away from her. She is on BET right now at this very moment, using her assets, we'll call them that, okay, to play these little roles. And I think that's another reason why she's with Tay Diggs, is because she gets to be more grounded in the industry from someone who's an actual actor and not just a reality star. So now she's getting these different roles on these different BET shows and different stuff like that, right? Okay, so with this being said, y'all, there is so much more. But imagine your mother knowing, right? Because we were introduced to her on Love and Hip Hop. Imagine your mother knowing that she came from another producer, from a producer out of a relationship with him, and she didn't break up with this producer, okay? She simply cheated on him. Imagine your mother knowing that, right? Imagine your mother knowing that. And imagine your mother now seeing that this girl is now pregnant by her son. So what we saw on that first season of Love and Hip Hop was Hollywood, was the mother coming after April, and April being disrespectful to the mother, and in a place where it's like, well, she's just hating because we're together and la la la. The reason why, and any woman could say this about her child, and y'all got to be honest when y'all say this. We got to be honest. The reason why that woman decided to wake it up on TV about her son is because of what she saw from April Jones. What she saw from April Jones was her in a relationship with an older man, with a producer. She was in a relationship with this man, and then all of a sudden, she jumps in a relationship with Omarion without even breaking up with that man, and now she's suddenly pregnant. April Jones didn't break up with that producer until he found out that she was pregnant by Omarion. Have y'all ever heard the saying, you get them how you lose them, or you lose them how you get them? Well, for Omarion, this was definitely the case. Honey, he lost her how he got her. And this is why he was not surprised. Y'all got to understand what I'm saying here to you, okay? Have y'all ever understood? See, nobody ever knew what was going on in the background, and I'm just finding this out years later, and it's crazy because now it's put together and it makes so much different sense as to the reactions and the mom being upset and being mad because April Jones is who she is. That mom said everything on TV except this girl is a hoe, and she basically said that. Now, didn't she? So April Jones basically broke the heart of that producer. He didn't know what was going on until he found out that April Jones was not only pregnant by Omarion, but also living with him. Okay? April Jones just met Omarion and moved right in, and was also still keeping her relationship on the side. And I think the reason why Omarion permitted for her to keep that relationship on the side is so that he didn't look bad or lose any industry connections, but he ended up losing them anyway, which is why he had to then go and be on the reality show to try to rebuild, okay? So this is why you start seeing Omarion come on to reality. He felt like he needed to rebuild the ties that he'd broken by dating April Jones in the first place. Okay, so now you've got April Jones, who's living in your son's house, who you know was in a different relationship with an older man. Now she's pregnant by your son. It's all this mess between Omarion and the industry people that are dealing with this producer because of April Jones. And so apparently this part is allegedly. There was a big melee, like a big argument, a big fight, a big fallout between Omarion and this producer, Red One, and his entourage. Okay, so now you're seeing your son fighting and arguing and losing industry ties and all of this stuff, right? For a girl, for this woman. But what does Omarion do? He goes on, continues his stuff, goes on to TV, and continues to date April, now publicly. Now she's at the end of her pregnancy by the time we meet her. She's big pregnant. She's about to have her baby. The mom is still upset, not having it, don't want to deal with it, and letting the audience know And it wasn't for the audience that the mom was doing this. This was for that other producer and those industry ties. Why the mom was willing to wake it up so publicly on her own son and his girlfriend. It wasn't about us seeing her and her thoughts. It was about people they knew that knew what was going on, wanting to know what did she think about what was going on. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, okay, she has the baby. And now we have father and mother Omarion. We feel like everything is all good in the hood, but apparently it is not. April Jones gets pregnant a second time, and this is when Omarion starts to question stuff. Apparently, April Jones wants to be a singer so bad that not only is she pressuring Omarion to take her to the studio with him, but also when he does take her to the studio, she's in every nigga's face, in every man's face. So now Omarion decides to stop bringing her to the studio with him, and he decides to tell her that she needs to work on her craft more at home. And remember, if you remember on Love and Hip Hop, Omarion tells her, what are you doing to show me that you want to be in the studio? Like, what do you want to be in the studio for? Is basically what he was saying. Are you in the studio? He was saying, are you working on your craft? Like, I don't see you dancing. I don't see you singing. I don't see you practicing at home. So why are you coming to the studio? The reason why he said that is because April would be in the studio frolicking with all other types of dudes. And he knows that he stole her from another producer. So he decides to stop taking her to the studio, tells her to work on her craft at home. At that time, she gets upset, but it's my true and honest belief that April Jones 100%, this is 100% straight up, that she wanted to go to the studio with Omarion to meet other people, other men, so that she can social climb. That's my 100 honest percent. I think if April Jones was into women, she would be with Queen Latifah right now, trying to work her way up to the top. She'll probably be, I'm just saying, she'll be right on up there trying to date Niecy Dash. That's my true and honest opinion, okay? Because one thing that I noticed about her is she's most definitely a social climber. And I think that Omarion's mother noticed it first. And then Omarion started to notice it. And he tried to rein her back in and tried to make her just be his baby mama. Now, there was one scene on Love and Hip Hop where he was like, well, we don't even do nothing no more. You know, I mean, like, you know, what are we doing? We don't do nothing no more. You just want me to take you to the studio all the time. I'm always working. You know, she asking me to take her with me. So she pops up on him at practice and she gets in her lingerie in front of, and this is the God's to honest truth, all the camera crew, right? Everybody that's filming, and even the rest of the people that he was rehearsing with were behind the camera on the fourth wall. They call it the fourth wall. Okay. She did that in front of all of those men. And even though Omarion tried to make it seem like he was happy about that scene, apparently he was not happy about that scene. And that further made him feel like she again was trying to wake it up with other men. So from that scene, they started to have these real problems in their home because of the things that she's willing to do in front of other men. So now April has the two kids, right? And Omarion drops her. Boom, just dumps her, right? Ciao. It wasn't a just dump. It was not a just dump, honey. Let me wake it up right quick, okay? Whew. Okay. So Omarion, when he had his two children, remember they had their daughter Amai, okay? And Amai at the time was a little baby, a little girl when they were together. She was a baby, and she still was like to the point where she needed her mother, you know, with her, because she had to change the diapers and this, that, and the other. Omarion had invited, and this is facts, Omarion had invited all of the elite fathers out to Disneyland. So he invited Chris Brown, I believe Trey Songz was there. Willie, Denise and Willie from Day 26, Willie was there. There were some other fathers there from the franchise as well as outside of the franchise. But I know for a fact that Chris Brown and Willie was there, Ray J, and some other fathers, right? So they're all at Disneyland and they're waking it up for their kids, you know. But April Jones was the only woman that had come along because she, first of all, wanted to, you know, oh, why I can't come? I don't want to sit in the house by myself with the kids and this, that, and the other. And then also she needed to be there to take care of her very young daughter, who at the time was in diapers still, pretty much a new baby. But not necessarily new, but like right out of being out, you know, right after whatever new is, okay? So while they were at Disneyland, at first, April was being super attentive to Omarion. She was paying a lot of attention to him. Then suddenly, she started to talk to other men in the group. Omarion allegedly was walking in front of her, like subbing her, kind of dissing her. I don't know what they were arguing about, but they got into some type of altercation at this Disneyland, okay? So Omarion started walking ahead of her. Everybody could tell it was tension, but they weren't saying anything about it. So while they're on a ride, and, you know, Omarion gets on a ride with the baby, with his son, April and Fizz disappear, okay, in the Disneyland. So now the whole group is together except April and Fizz are gone. So Omarion is calling April. She's not picking up the phone. He's calling Fizz. Fizz is picking up the phone and he's saying, yeah, I'm in the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. La, 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 la. But he's calling April and April is not picking up the phone. Okay. So by the time April and Fizz came back and met back up with the group, which how did April know where the group was if she wasn't picking up the phone? But by the time they came and met back up with the group, Omarion had already put 2 and 2 together. This is via my source, okay? Had already put 2 and 2 together, and she looked disheveled. She looked toe up. So he was thinking that they had sex right there in the Disneyland, some maybe in a bathroom or this, that, and the other. But what he did know was that by the time he came off of that ride, they disappeared together, and he was done with her. And that's the reason why Omarion left April. He never spoke to her again after that day, okay? At that time, he petitioned the court. You know what? And I'm not going to lie, Susan, that is really messed up. But that is some bold for you to be there with your baby daddy, the only female, and a whole slew of men, and then disappear with his bandmate. So Chris Brown, Willie, Ray J, all of them already knew what was going on. They haven't said nothing. They knew way before this storyline came out on Love and Hip Hop. And so did Omarion. Omarion did not find out about Fizz and April Jones on TV. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of us have about what went on with Fizz, April, and Omarion, and Moniece as well. Moniece Slaughter did not find out what was going on with Fizz and April on TV. They knew from the day that he invited those fathers to Disneyland, and those two had disappeared and then showed back up. And so after that moment, Omarion he dumped her. He didn't want to speak to her ever again. He never spoke with her ever again after that. And you know what? Even if he assumed it at first, they proved it to him after a while. You know what I'm saying? What he assumed was 100% correct. And also, I think Omarion's mother put a bug in his ear like, look, the girl is a hoe. If she disappearing and he disappearing, what's there to say about that? So I think at first, even though he assumed it, he assumed right, because after a while, she did prove to him that it was her and Fizz. And so his assumptions, I'm glad that he listened to his first mind. And I think that's why Omarion really credits himself he credits himself on his discernment. And this is the reason why he kept saying on TV, change the narrative, because that's not the narrative. That's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? Change the narrative because that's not true. The truth is that she disappeared with Fizz at Disneyland while they were there. And imagine being embarrassed in front of all your other homeboys. Your baby mama is here and she disappeared with your bandmate. And how long has that been going on? That you two are sitting here being sexually in tune in this Disneyland while all the rest of us are not on the same frequency as you guys. And we over here thinking we just having fun, and y'all over here making googly eyes and whispering and texting each other. Let's meet, let's go over here. And as soon as this man get on a ride, now y'all walk off. Imagine the other men in the park that's like, oh no, my nigga, you can't do this no more. Like, you can't, that's why you can't trust these hoes, my nigga. Like, you already know what it is. Like, come on, bro. Like, we not stupid. We know what it is. That's embarrassing. And on top of that, his mother tried to tell him this from the beginning. I think that was so bold and so messed up on so many other levels. But it caused for Omarion to leave her. And she's trying to make it seem like he left her for no reason, because at first you have to remember, it's an assumption. He's assuming that they went and slept together because they both disappeared and they came back together. You see what I'm saying? So she like, for no reason, he just up and left me, la 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 la, knowing that she's lying on Omarion, knowing that there was good reason for him to walk away, knowing that there was good reason for him to feel the way that he felt. So anyway, again, after that day, they never talked again. So now you have Omarion, who starts taking April to court. Okay, he starts taking her to court. He's in court hammering her. And when I say hammering, he's hammering this girl. He's hammering her life, her antics in the industry, the things that she doesn't have that he can provide to the kids. He is laying it on thick. Allegedly, he was in court going in on her like they never was just in love. He was heartbroken. I think it broke his heart. And I think that it left him with a sense of, I don't want to even bring another woman to the public, because I think she played with his brain so hard, you know, in the sense of, well, how I know you want to be with me forever if you ain't even willing to show me to the world? You know, like, you're not even willing to be with me publicly. So la 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 la. You understand what I'm saying? And he was willing to do that for her because she was pregnant with his child. He felt like, okay, well, she mine now. I got her pregnant. She gonna settle down. And then she didn't. She woke it up with one of his homeboys, of all people to wake it up with. Okay. So when you saw Fizz standing on stage apologizing to him, he was apologizing for way back in the day stuff that had not only to do with April Jones, but also one of the first girls that Omarion wanted to be with when they were with B2K, that Fizz ended up sleeping with, even though Omarion wanted to be in a relationship with that girl. She settled for Fizz sleeping with her instead of being in a relationship with Omarion. And so I think that was something that was deep rooted for Omarion, and that really was something from his childhood that hurt him, that bothered him. And I feel like that apology was very well needed, right, for him to heal, okay? Because that was a childhood trauma from Fizz that Fizz caused him long ago, that he's had to pretend that I'm not bothered all this time, and until he just really wasn't bothered. He just got used to it. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? So now you have Omarion in court, waking it up super deep on April Jones, okay? April Jones then loses custody of her children, okay? Then April Jones, once she loses custody of the children, Omarion cuts her off, whoop, okay? And he lets the court deal with her with visitation. So she was getting some visitation, right? Like once a week, she was getting visitation for one day out of the week. Then she got with Fizz off camera. Her and Fizz suddenly took the kids and went to Chicago. And this was during Christmas. I think she had her kids for one day on Christmas. And if y'all notice, the Christmas after, if you've been paying attention on social media, On the reunion, it was brought up that Fizz took his son Cameron and April took her kids on Christmas to Chicago, and her son, Monique's son, told her they went to the snow. Remember that? Well, remember the next Christmas where she was by herself, drunk under a couch? Remember that? Under a futon? Well, honey, she lost the privilege to take her kids the next Christmas because she took her kids without permission the last Christmas. Okay? So, they took their kids. She took the kids to the snow, to Chicago for Christmas. Okay? This caused a ripple chain effect in her visitation and in what Omarion got the chance to be able to say happens, right? So now they're filming a scene. They're filming scenes for Love and Hip Hop. Not once do you see April Jones with her kids. Her storyline is that her and Fizz are a new couple. She doesn't care what Moniece has to say. She wasn't friends with Moniece, and Fizz was not friends with Omarion. That was not true. She was definitely friends with Moniece. They were having play dates and all kinds of stuff together when they were both coupled up with Fizz and Omarion. And Fizz was enough friends with Omarion that he invited him to that daddy child day at Disneyland. But Fizz was saying that he wasn't friends with Omarion from that situation that happened way back in the day with that girl, Jennifer or Jessica, whichever the J it was. It's one of those, Jennifer or Jessica. Okay. So that's the reason why Fizz was saying they wasn't friends. And that's the reason why Omarion was saying change the narrative. Like, that's not true. Just change the narrative. Okay? Y'all didn't just get together. This ain't pop. We just start talking one day and we were super close because Omarion stopped talking to me out the clear blue sky. And so Fizz just stepped in and was with me after Omarion just left me for no reason. And no, Omarion left you behind you dealing with Fizz. And she knows that. So now you have that storyline. If you guys notice on the reunion after Fizz and April got caught in the bed together, right? They were trying to wake it up on Moniece and say that Moniece, there were rumors that came out during the taping that April was pregnant. April tried to say that Moniece started that rumor. Moniece did not start that rumor. If you guys were watching closely, there was a cousin of April's. It was a boy, a male cousin, a male gay cousin that came onto social media. He didn't say his name. He just said, I'm her cousin. And he told them people, an outlet that wasn't a big outlet, that April Jones was pregnant. Moniece simply repeated it on her social media, what this person said. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but that is what happened, okay? So April Jones' own family member was saying she was pregnant. I'm going to tell you guys this behind the scenes, okay? April Jones, if you go look on her social media, if you check out her post from the time she was with Fizz, there was a pooch. She was pregnant by Fizz, okay? April Jones had an abortion before they started filming Love and Hip Hop, okay? Her and Fizz were already living together by the time they were filming Love and Hip Hop. So April Jones had already had the abortion, and she's saying that Moniece is the one who started the rumor, in which Moniece was not. Moniece, if you listen closely to the reunion, Moniece said, I'm not the one who started the rumor. I gave all the information over. And who she gave the information over to? Omarion's attorney, James, who then did a retainer with Moniece for Moniece to speak at Omarion's hearings with April. Yes, that is why Fizz and April were upset at Moniece, and why they came out publicly is because Moniece was subpoenaed to speak at Omarion's hearing before the season even began. And she gave the information over that what was going on between Fizz and April to Omarion's attorney so that he can give that to the court in their custody case, right? Okay. So then you start seeing when April and Fizz are living together, you start seeing April with her kids with a white woman in the background. You might even see Fizz on his live, because at that time he was going live. Now he don't go live no more. He barely posts anymore. But at that time, Fizz was going live with a woman in his background. There will be a white woman in his background. That was a court-appointed magistrate, not a magistrate, a court-appointed guardian or something that they appoint to watch April with her kids. So then after this point, after all this information was provided and turned over from the family, from Moniece to the attorney, now April has to have supervision while she watches her children. So at this point, she gets more upset. She gets upset and she's mad, right? A court-appointed guardian to watch her kids. Now, Omarion, after this, petitions the court again, because now you start seeing Fizz going to court with April on social media, right? People were thinking that Fizz was just supporting April going to court. No, that is not what happened. What happened was Fizz has a child abuse charge against him. Okay? Fizz has a child abuse charge against him that has been sealed because, of course, it's a child. It's not a criminal charge. It's a family court matter. So what happened was, apparently his son was losing a game at maybe a baseball or a football game, whatever it is that he plays. And his son got mad and hit somebody. So then Fizz goes to the car and hits his son. So then his son ends up telling people, his mom and other people, that Fizz socked him. And so Fizz ends up getting this children's court charge on him. I don't know if he had to take classes. I don't know what he had to do, but that was a thing, okay? So then this is presented to Omarion. So then Omarion files more papers with the court. And remember, April Jones kept saying, Omarion keeps taking me back and forth to court. Like every other week I'm in court. Remember that? And Fizz was going with her and we thought it was for support. No, Fizz had to show up with her because the issue was that he was in the home with April while the kids were visiting and he had this charge on him, and Omarion was concerned about it. Now, Omarion's concern could have been out of, I'm going to get this N-word for stealing my baby mama, or I don't want him around my kids because F him. But whatever the case, his petition was valid because the real concern was there based on past events. So he petitions the court that he doesn't want Fizz around his kids. Okay? So now he gets his petition granted. Now Fizz cannot be around the kids. And then we saw on TV that Fizz was with one of April's real friends, right? Remember on Family Reunion, it was like, oh, Fizz is with one of my real friends, and he had the nerve to go with a woman I know. Fizz had to leave the home and had nowhere to go because he could not be around or in the home where Omarion's children were present. So Fizz and April were forced to break up. Yes, they were forced. They did not break up because she was seen with this artist. What was his name? It's on my home channel. You gotta look up April Jones Toxic Diamond. There was an artist, FBG something, I believe it was, that she was seen with, and she was leaning over him while she was with Fizz, and she was real close up on him. And Apple Watch, I said they were only shooting a video, right? Well, it turns out that have nothing to do with why they broke up. They had to be forced to break up because Fizz left the home, and April started feeling resentment towards Fizz, like Fizz caused her problems with her visitation with her kids. So apparently, allegedly, there was some type of argument, like, oh my God, you're causing me problems in my custody, and this, that, and the other. And so Fizz just left and moved in with one of her homegirls. And that is the reason why you saw on the family reunion, April Jones said he left to go be with one of my homegirls. Okay. But this whole scenario is a hot mess in regards to April Jones, Fizz, and Omarion. But Omarion, he played all his cards right, honey. He played his cards right from the beginning to the end. And April Jones, she was just out here living simultaneously, right? And just social climbing. And she climbed into a hot mess. Well, she created the hot mess with what she climbed into. So after this, Fizz realizes that he really, truly messed up. He messed up for real, for real. And he realizes that he's going to have to try to fix it, because at that point, right before that last season, before they woke this up, they were doing B2K. So Fizz not only loses his friend, his career, he also loses his girl. April Jones loses visitation with her children until she can prove that she has no contact and no dealings with Fizz whatsoever. And apparently this is what have caused all of this mess and this melee. Boom, bitch, I just woke it up. Oh yes, the tea is hot around these parts. But you know what? I'm hoping that in this book, I don't want to see Omarion completely trash April, and I don't think that he's going to. You know what I'm saying? I think that Omarion is, at heart, Omarion is naturally a good dude. I think that he's done everything that he can to protect his children, and namely his daughter, because rumor is that he doesn't want his daughter growing up to repeat the same cycle that April and her mother repeated. But I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that April lacked love from her own mother, from her own family, and she is always looking for somebody to love her and to pick it up for her, you know, and to help her to succeed. And I feel like, you know, with me, I just feel like that's something that she's seeking all the time, and it's been to her detriment. You know, I am sure that Omarion knows that, and if it were me, if I was Omarion, I would want to protect my daughter from it too. You know, I'm not gonna lie and say I would want my daughter around this woman, because 100% I would want to limit the time that she has around her. At the same time, though, I believe that mothers need daughters, and sons need their mother, and they need their mother's love. You know, the mother instills the womanhood in the child, and the father instills the confidence in the daughter. And but his big thing was not about his son. His big thing was protecting his daughter from April Jones and being around a whole bunch of other men, and you know, and stuff like that. And I think Omarion did a great job with waking it up legally. His book, like I said, is called Unbothered: The Power of Choosing Joy. I think that he's been a picture and a hallmark poster for exactly how to do that. And I'm gonna tell y'all, quite technically, I'm proud of Omarion. You know, his mama is pretty much playing the role of his baby mama at this time. And there are times that you do see April Jones with her kids, but that's few, far, and in between. And that is because her visitation has been greatly affected by the events that took place between her and Fizz. And she even still right now is trying to rebuild those broken ties that happened in court based on situations between her and Fizz. But I can say this is a whole heap of hot mess, and I feel really, really bad for everybody involved. I feel like Fizz has caused all this with his penile section, honey. And April have caused all this with her vaginal section, okay? And I feel like, you know, just as for the young people, that they should move with more precaution, baby, because to be a single mother or a single father out here is hard. You know what I'm saying? And thank God that Omarion does have the help of his people. All right, guys, if you want to come up and make any comments about this story in particular and some of your thoughts, here is the link. Make sure you get in the queue. I'm going to post the link a couple of times. Hop in the queue and give us your thoughts. I'm going to leave a few moments for that. Go ahead and hop on queue and let us know what you think about the situation or my commentary. I'm going to give y'all a minute to log in. Let me give you a minute to log in. Y'all come on up. Let us know your thoughts, honey child. Let us know your thoughts. And if you don't have any thoughts too, that's fine. But baby, this was a whole lot of tea, and y'all should definitely have a whole lot of thoughts about what went on here. You hear what I'm saying? All right, don't be afraid, because on every video on Tox Talks, I'm going to try to leave some room for you guys to come up and leave your thoughts if there's something that you wish to say or wish to wake up on April, your thoughts on her, your thoughts on how Omarion has behaved in regards to this situation, your thoughts on Fizz and how he has behaved in regards to the situation as well. I'm going to make sure that I leave you guys space for that at the end of each segment on Teahive Book Club by Toxic Diamond. Okay, so just make sure that at the end of every one of my videos, right? Because I know you guys might be a little, that's a new thing from me. I don't always allow people to come up, but make sure that you guys are prepared to gather your thoughts, leave your thoughts, okay? Not only in the comment section, but also on screen as well, so that years from now we could come back and hear what people had to say, what the audience had to say. I think that Omarion is going to go out as a legend in the game. I think B2K is still going to be legendary, but Omarion is a step above B2K. And I think that he's going to be a legend because of the way that he has handled himself. He's always at work. There are memes that go viral because of him. I think he's doing a great job as a father, as a mentor to his daughter, his son, and those who look at him as an example. And I'm like I said, I'm proud of Omarion and what he has to offer. He's been a positive effect on social media rather than a negative one. He goes viral for all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's effortless. And that's one thing that we cannot discount from him in this circumstance. I think that April Jones manipulated Omarion. And in that manipulation, he got sucked in. But I think that she also, within that manipulation, taught him a very good lesson about life, about women, about honesty, about relationships. And I think that is why now the relationship that he is in is very private. I don't think Omarion will ever want another woman that wants to be public or that isn't inspiring anything in this industry, because I think that has allowed him to be burned. And this is not the first time. I think that he will be traumatized behind his homeboys, though, and that this is something that's going to stick with him for the rest of his life. Of course, he has to deal with the fact that he has 2 children by this woman, and that he has to deal with her for the rest of his life. But Omarion, if you guys don't know, has gone through the court for every single little step. If he want to decide what school they go to, he goes to the court for her thoughts. If he wants to decide what doctor they go to, he goes through the courts for her agreement. You know, he does not speak to or deal with her at all, and will not talk to this woman. They go through the court. They go through different channels in order to set up visitation. You know, he drops him off at a location, she comes and picks him up, type of deal. And that's what it is. And I think that that's very smart for him to keep himself out of trouble, because clearly she's the type of woman that will try to, wake it up on him in different areas in different ways. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this exclusive. There will be many more like this on this channel. So make sure you are subscribed. Leave your comments in the comment section so we can get into this discussion. Like